In a land far away, nestled between towering mountains and vast forests, there existed a small, peaceful village. This village, though small, had a king known for his wisdom and bravery. His kingdom was surrounded by a mighty empire, a vast and powerful realm that was home to armies of untold size and strength. For years, the people of the small kingdom lived in harmony, their lives simple and their hearts content. But deep within the empire, the rulers had long coveted the fertile lands of the small kingdom. The small village, peaceful as it was, had always been a quiet target for the empire's expansion. One day, as the sun dipped low in the sky, the royal spies returned to the palace with troubling news. They had ventured deep into the empire and gathered crucial intelligence. The report was grim. The empire was preparing to strike and planned to invade the village within a week. The king, sitting on his throne, felt a chill run down his spine. He knew the empire's army was vast, trained, equipped, and ready for war. His own army was small, unprepared for a battle of such scale. The king knew his people were not equipped to withstand such an attack. In a state of great worry, the king summoned his council of ministers to discuss the situation. The grand hall of the palace, usually filled with the sounds of laughter and joy, was now quiet. The ministers gathered around the king, each one more anxious than the last. The king looked at them, his face grave. "What do you think we should do?" he asked. "What is our course of action?" The first minister, a young man with little experience, spoke up. "Your Majesty, the enemy's forces are simply too powerful. Our army cannot stand against them. Perhaps it would be wise to surrender before the battle even begins. We can avoid the destruction and loss of life this way. We can save our people." His voice wavered as he spoke, uncertainty clouding his words. "If we submit to their will, they may spare us." Other ministers nodded in agreement, their faces filled with fear. They too felt the weight of the enemy's overwhelming power and wanted nothing more than to save themselves. "Yes, surrender is the only logical choice," another minister chimed in. "We may be a small village, but we can't fight a battle we are bound to lose." But as the murmurs of surrender grew louder, the king remained silent. His thoughts swirled in his mind, torn between the voices of caution and the roar of his own pride. He had ruled this kingdom for years, and the thought of handing it over without a fight filled him with disgust. He was not a coward. His heart was heavy, and his soul burned with a desire to protect his people. He refused to bow before the might of the empire without a struggle. Then an old minister, wise beyond his years, stepped forward. His name was Olden, and though he was frail and bent with age, his mind was sharp as a sword. His voice was steady and filled with the kind of wisdom that only comes with age and experience. He looked at the king and the other ministers, his gaze piercing and clear. "Your Majesty," he began, "I understand the fear that clouds your judgment. I too see the mighty army of the empire and the hopelessness that comes with it. But I urge you to consider this. What do we have to lose?" The room fell silent. The king leaned forward, intrigued. Olden continued, "If we wait for them to attack us, we will be caught off guard. We will have no time to prepare. They will come at us with everything they have. But if we strike first, before they can fully prepare, we may have a chance. We must act while their forces are scattered and still in the process of organizing. The element of surprise is our best weapon. Yes, it is a dangerous gamble, but if we are to fight, it is our only hope." The king's eyes widened as he listened to Olden's words. There was a certain fire in them, a spark of hope. He could sense it. "But what if we fail?" he asked, his voice trembling with uncertainty. "What if we are defeated?" Olden's eyes softened, and he placed a hand on the king's shoulder. "If we fail, Your Majesty, then we will die with honor, fighting for our kingdom. We will not go down without a fight. We may be small, but we are strong in spirit. It is better to die with dignity than to surrender in shame." The king felt a wave of resolve wash over him. He had been weighed down by doubt, but now he could feel the courage rising within him. He stood tall, his chest swelling with a newfound determination. "You are right, Olden," he declared. "We will not give up without a fight. We will attack before they strike. Prepare the army and call upon the youth of the kingdom to take up arms. I will not let my people fall without a fight." The very next day, the kingdom's army began its preparations. The king personally oversaw the arming of his soldiers, ensuring they were ready for the battle ahead. Young men and women, eager to serve their country, came forward and joined the ranks. The spirit of unity and resolve filled the air. The king felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders, but he knew he was doing the right thing. As the preparations continued, the king made one final decision that would set the course for the battle. He ordered his army to march towards the enemy's border, but there was something else he wanted to do. A bridge stood between the two kingdoms, a critical passageway for both sides. The king knew that once they crossed it, there would be no turning back. He ordered his soldiers to destroy the bridge. "This is our final chance," he said to his army. "Once we cross this bridge, there is no retreat. We fight for victory or we die trying." The soldiers stood in stunned silence as the bridge was torn apart. The king's words echoed in their minds. Now they had no choice but to fight. The army felt a surge of determination, knowing that there was no escape, no second chance. They had to succeed. The time for hesitation had passed. The small kingdom's army crossed into enemy territory and launched a surprise attack. The enemy was caught off guard, their forces disorganized and unprepared for the sudden onslaught. The battle that followed was fierce and bloody, but the king's army fought with a strength born of desperation. They fought as though their very lives depended on it, which in truth they did. The tides of war shifted as the small kingdom's forces, driven by their unwavering determination, began to overpower the enemy. Though the battle was long and hard, the kingdom's soldiers refused to surrender. Their bravery, combined with their strategic surprise attack, proved to be their greatest strength. The empire's army, though numerous, faltered in the face of such determination. After hours of fierce fighting, the enemy's forces were in retreat. The small kingdom had won. The king stood victorious, not just in battle, but in the knowledge that his decision to act without a backup plan had been the key to their success. As the dust settled and the wounded were tended to, the king gathered his people. "Today we learned a powerful lesson," he said. "When we are faced with a choice, we cannot afford to rely on multiple plans. We must commit ourselves fully to our goal without hesitation. When we have no other choice but to succeed, success becomes possible." Our victory came because we had no retreat, no second plan. We fought for our future and we won. And so, the small kingdom thrived, forever remembered for its courage and determination. The moral of their story spread across the land, a tale of how life's greatest victories come not from having many options, but from committing fully to one path and giving everything to it. In life, just as in battle, success is not found in the abundance of choices, but in the clarity of purpose. When we make a decision and commit ourselves fully to it, we give ourselves the chance to achieve greatness. The road may be tough, and the challenges may seem insurmountable, but it is only through single-minded determination that we can truly succeed. Life will present many choices, but remember, the choice you make and the commitment you give will determine the future you create. So believe, grow, and inspire. Nothing can stop you. This story is to fuel your day. Thank you so much for watching, and stay blessed.